Thank you for joining us for the head judge training. What are the head judge duties? The head judge assigns election judges to specific tasks, gives direction as needed on election day, picks up election materials before the election, completes the election returns and other forms, closes the polling place, and returns election materials. The head judge is truly the lead official at the polling place. We as staff rely on the head judges to supervise the election judges, helping to resolve issues and questions that may come in, including people making written complaints, challengers, challenged voters, curbside voters, media representatives, disorderly conduct, and persons campaigning or wearing campaign materials. We will go over some of the things that can happen during election day. While we can't touch on every single incident that may happen, that is why staff is here to help you out. If a person is making a written complaint, the complaint must be made using the HAVA elections complaint form found in your election day supplies. Upon request, you should provide that form to the voter. They can complete the form at the precinct or they may take it with them. Election judges are authorized to sign as a notary on the form. Please be aware that signing the form as an election judge does not indicate agreement. Make a note in the incident log with details of the event. Challengers in the polling place. Only one challenger per major party may be appointed per polling place. All challenger appointments must be made in writing, and a challenger must present written appointment to the head judge, prove residency in Minnesota, not the precinct, and challenge the eligibility of the voter based on personal knowledge. So, a challenger must make a challenge in writing, complete the oath of challenge to voters' eligibility for each challenge. A challenger may not speak to voters, speak to election judges other than to indicate the challenge, handle or inspect any election materials, or be disruptive. A challenger may not make lists of who voted and did not vote. They cannot take pictures within the polling place. They cannot go within 6 feet of the ballot counter, nor can they attempt to influence voting. Election judges have the right to eject a challenger from the polling place for violating these provisions, after being informed not to do so. Things to remember. Please remember to contact the election officials to notify that a challenger is present, and always record all events in the incident log. This allows the county to know what happened during the event. Common roster notations. You will see these as notations on the roster. If there is an AB, that means absentee ballot, which means the voter has already cast an absentee ballot and cannot vote again in person. If it says CID, they must show election day registration documentation. Challenged for postal return, where they will need to show proof of their current address. Challenged, voted out of precinct. Challenged for a felony. Challenged for guardianship. If you see any of these notations and you do not know what to do, please feel free to contact one of the staff or the county during the election. This is an example of what you will see on the voter signature line showing the challenge of each of those items. If you have a challenged voter, have the voter affirm the oath, question the voter to determine their eligibility to vote. If the voter's answers indicate that the voter is eligible, the voter may proceed to sign the roster and vote. If a voter refuses to answer questions, they are not eligible, or they refuse to sign the roster, print on the roster that they have refused oath or not eligible. Again, always remember to make those notations in the incident log as appropriate. Have the challenger complete the oath of challenge and voter's eligibility form. Have the voter affirm the voting oath. Question them regarding the reason for the challenge. If the voter's answer indicate that the voter is eligible, they may proceed and sign the roster and vote. If a voter refuses to answer the questions, is not eligible, or refuses to sign the roster, again, write print refused oath or not eligible on the roster. In-person challenges. The challenger cannot speak to voters. If a challenger persists with the challenge and the voter continues to say they are eligible to vote, have the voter verbally repeat the oath. You may inform the challenger that they may contact the county attorney to pursue the matter further. Make notations in the incident log as appropriate. Roster challenge procedure. Have the voter swear or affirm an oath. Ask the appropriate questions. If they are eligible, the voter can vote. Make a note in the incident log. Curbside voting. Many times you will have someone that is unable to come into the voting area. What this does is it provides additional accommodation at polling sites. Remember these things. 2 election judges from different political parties must assist the voter. You will go out to the curbside, ask for the voter's name, check the greeter list for registration, and the voter will complete the certificate of registered voter. They will also complete the voter registration application form if needed. Exchange the forms for a voter receipt. You will print curbside on the roster, noting that they did curbside voting. Hand over the voter receipt to obtain a ballot. Bring the ballot back to the voter in the vehicle. The voter will complete the ballot, and you can provide assistance as requested. Place the completed ballot into the ballot box. Media representatives. Many times we will have the media come to polling places to get snippets or video or talk to people in regards to how the process is working that day. As a head judge, it is your responsibility to engage with the media representatives and remind them of what the rules and regulations are. Media representatives need to present a photo ID and credentials. If they do not have that, they must bring it prior to them being able to take photos or video. They must also remain 6 feet from any voter. They cannot converse with voters in the polling location, and do not make a list of those voting or not voting. Prohibited conduct at voting locations. People engaging in prohibited conduct must be asked to leave, whether that is a disorderly person, an intoxicated person, someone who is smoking, or someone just lingering outside within the building. If it's a low-level incident happening, contact the election official. You can always contact the staff or county on how to adjust what to do. If it is high-level, please immediately contact law enforcement and record all events in the incident log. Campaign material. Persons are prohibited from campaigning or displaying campaign materials at the polling sites. If someone comes in with it, please ask the individual to remove campaign material, whether it's a button, a hat, a shirt. If they refuse, explain that eligible voters will be allowed to vote, and the refusal will be recorded and referred to election officials. The incident log. We've talked a lot about the incident log throughout this process. Really what the incident log is a direct contact from each site to the county and other election officials. It's our way of knowing that something happened. Make sure to record any unusual events or problems in the precinct. If the ballot counter stops operating, if there was a disturbance that occurred in the polling place, if a voter is upset about something that happened in the polling place, or anything else that just is out of the ordinary, please mark it on your incident log. The incident log is a huge resource for the election officials after the fact. Remember to record the information about the incident, the time, how it was resolved, and include as much detail as possible in case further investigation becomes necessary. Thank you so much for joining us for this head judge training. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to the city clerk at 218-299-5304. Thanks so much for your help.